Oh, happy holidays from Common Ground. It's Thomas here, recording a little intro. I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but I have been recovering from sickness, and I missed the episode record on Monday. Sadly, I was in no shape to record, but I wanted to pop in and let you all know, because Cameron told me they forgot to mention it during the episode, that we will be taking next week, the 25th of December, Christmas Day, we'll be taking that day off for the holiday, so there will be no episode out that week, but we'll be right back at you on the 1st of January to kick off the new year with an episode that we will have already recorded by the time you hear this as well. So we're kind of stocking things up because I'm traveling over the holidays. Cam is going to be traveling back to South Dakota, so lots of busyness and family events to be had. So we wish you all well. We hope you enjoy this episode, the 2025 recap with Jake AKA Kalikaiz. And I haven't listened to the episode yet. I'm recording this first to get this out of the way, but I'm excited to hear the conversation. It was an amazing year for Pauper and an amazing year for the podcast. So thank you all so much for being a part of it. And we hope you'll stick around for the next year. Here's to 2026. And without further ado, here's your 2025 recap of the year of Pauper.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Common Ground Podcast. Your favorite podcast, we talk about your favorite format, Pauper. This is episode 100 and something. I am your co-host, Cameron Schindler, joined as always by Saidenraiken on Magic Online, AKA Kalikaiz.
What's up?
AKA Jake.
Yep.
You got any other aliases?
Aliases? People always say that I look like Tobey Maguire on the YouTube. It's pretty funny.
Holy
donkey!
I never put that together.
That one's a new one for me.
That one's scary. It's true.
Yeah.
I think I should.
Wow.
I probably should have just pursued an acting career in the first place.
But like I said, joined as always, at least always yearly for the last 2 years.
This is 2 in a row for sure.
Yeah. Like I said, always.
Two in a row.
It's a trend now. Also joined by James Hippo Hieronymus.
That's me.
Saw your scooter in the dumpster today. What happened to it?
You know, I needed to upgrade. I had to get motorized this time.
Oh, you got a motorized?
Yeah, I got motorized this time. So there's a little bzz, bzz motor on it, like from like a one-stroke engine off of like a motorcycle or something.
You know what they call that?
What's that?
Yes, and. So like, it's like going with the bits, improv.
Oh, yes.
See, Jake knew what I was talking about from his acting career.
Exactly.
But it's just saying, what are you talking about? You're like, yeah, I threw it away. That's good improv, Hippo. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
No Thomas Hammer Gun today. He is feeling a little bit under the weather, so go wish him better and hope his voice is usable by Wednesday and hope his body is travelable by the weekend.
Agreed. So he can go visit his family.
Yeah. We got a little bit of housekeeping. The Common Ground Cup is coming up on January 31st.
Correct. Come get your matches commentated on by me, Cameron, and our friend Tristan. Mm-hmm. Hope to have as good of a turnout as we did last time. Hopefully our hotel block rate will still be up as it was the last time.
Oh, sick. Okay, good.
Hopefully it
should be. It's still like a month away.
Yeah.
They'll be in Game Night Columbia in Tennessee. Game Night Columbia in Tennessee. There we go. Beautiful, as always. And I think you kind of nailed it there. It's going to be a good time. Should have a bigger and better trophy.
Hopefully.
That's the idea. Hopefully to cap it at 80 people. We had 63 last time.
67.
What happens if you hit the cap of 80? Is there room to expand? Are they going to host in a different environment?
That's what, if we could show Steven at Game Night, we can cap it. I bet he would be more than happy to host it somewhere else and just explode this thing.
That is very true. He's very, very community driven.
Yeah, he's a person that's like, other events have, I think the first cup was like one person short of a 1K, and he's just like, nah, 1K.
We're gonna fire it, run it.
Or like 3 people. Yeah, he's just more than happy to sink money for the health of an event, and he puts his money where his mouth is too. So, but it was crazy from going from, I think we had 30 the first one or
30.
something.
33
and then to 67 like you said. Then I think 80 is pretty manageable from that.
For sure.
So don't be a Magic player and sign up early. Don't do the last minute lollygag and stuff I know y'all like to do, including me. But
And me.
Callie, you said upstate New York Pauper. That's coming up too. When is that?
There's a charity tournament on December 20th in Rochester, New York. It'll be this Saturday, which we just found out. Things are happening quickly lately.
yeah, I know. The shock factor wasn't as much the first time we hit re-record. No biggie.
Wait,
But we're
Christmas?
Like, Christmas
Oh, no.
is next week. What?
I should buy presents.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah, I need
Same.
I need to wrap stuff too, and then I'm flying back home on Monday.
Do it.
But hopefully the Cube Saturday, or I'm gonna look up and see how far New York is. I would drive in New York and back.
From where?
Christ.
From
Yeah,
where?
Sunday. Tennessee, Nashville.
It's like upstate New York's like 17, 18 hours.
Never mind. That was 10 hours off. 8? No.
Yes.
Whoops. Okay, maybe
It's a
not.
long way.
That would be a long drive.
The question is, like, what kind of event would you fly for? Because you guys
That is
are
a good
building
question.
up the Common Ground Cup. That's awesome to see. You're going to go for 80 people, maybe over 100 on the next one, but then you're going to cap the local area. So then you need to start pulling people in from outside.
I agree. I think next year will be a better year for me, money-wise and time-wise, both of those combined. So it'll be a good place for me to actually have my feet under me. Because it's not that the stakes aren't high. It's more of the time and money. It feels like when I have the money, I don't have the time. When I have the time, I don't have the money.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully I can find that balance next year and make it to more stuff. But
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
I mean, in Europe, people are flying everywhere all the time just to go to stuff. And then they've got thousands of people for their events now. But like in the US, it's extraordinarily expensive to fly a few hours. So,
Yes, it is.
yeah.
I
So
think we
if
could do it,
Propaganda
though.
people ever want to fly us out?
That's what I said.
We just need some trains too. Let's get some trains from like the Pauper hubs. So like Chicago, New York, Nashville. Let's get some hyper rails between these Pauper events building up, and then it'll all be solved. But
A really good catapult.
yeah, or a really good.
A trebuchet, if you will.
Maybe we'll talk about that in our 2035 recap about how we got the trains going from our spaces.
That would be hilarious.
But today, like I said, we are recapping the 2025 year, and what a way to start. Last January was it our Common Ground Cup? I couldn't even tell you what day it was, but
I
on
can't
that
remember
topic,
off the top of my head. But it was in January. I do know that.
the menace of the format won that. Michael Full, the menace.
Yeah, he was. He was
With-
playing the menace.
Yeah, he was actually playing black green Broodscale. So that was what a way to start the event or the whole year with that deck in general. We were just talking about how that deck felt. It was the only choice for a combo deck, or at least the best choice. It could present its combo pretty consistently on turn 4 and 5, or as fast as turn 3 if no interaction. But the backup plan in Writhing Chrysalis was just enough pressure to feel sandwiched between that and the combo. And Jake, do you have any thoughts on that deck?
Yeah, it was interesting because when Modern Horizons 3 was previewed, I certainly didn't think it was going to be as good as it was. Then you had one pilot that was doing well with Jund with Wildfire in the leagues, playing Jund Broodscale. And then they, I think, did well in the event. And then I'm not sure exactly what happened in the summer, but then it obviously popped off over the fall. We saw Broodscale versus Broodscale finals in the fall of 2024, which was pretty sweet. I commentated that one with Kerblinksy. And then what was cool was there was it sort of was kind of like the high tide that we'll get into later, where it was not refined. And then once the refining occurred, then we saw that it was just overpowered and was really taking people over. It was funny because I kind of created, I think, the version of the deck that ended up being the tier 0 version of it, which was the black green plus red, or black green plus Chrysalis.
Yeah.
Where I implemented having Shambling Gas in the main deck for Kuldotha, stopping them from getting in on you. Also, the Chrysalis would just put all their decks into the dirt. You didn't have to worry about Terror anymore, or fairies, or normal anti-combo stuff, and the deck was just overpowered. It was fun when you were winning. But what I also noticed was that the deck, in my opinion, was like mega boring. Like you just kind of put stuff on the table and then you won or didn't. But that comes from a person who likes to play Storm.
I love playing that deck.
A Storm pilot wants to take lots of actions and not just like have the game end.
But what about just like playing a Chrysalis and make them deal with it until they tap out and you just like combo off instead? That's pretty fun too, I think.
Yeah.
Or you have like 3 Basking Broodscales in your hand and you just play it and they're just scared of it the entire time.
It wasn't in 2025, but at the end of 2024 in the finals, the guy who ended up taking the event down, he just slammed a Broodscale in the mirror when the opponent had a swamp in play, and the opponent was like, okay. And he just didn't have the snuff out in hand, and it just turned 3'd him.
Yeah,
it's like sometimes you just push it.
That's a good way to like paint the picture to start 2025. Broodscale was super good, and because of that, we saw Jund, like an overrepresentation of Jund Wildfires too, because that deck at the time was playing a number of snuff outs and a number of cast downs, plus all these draw twos like Deadly Dispute
And Kark Clan too.
and Kark Clan Shaman. So it felt like that deck had the draw power and the removal density to deal with the combo and Writhing Chrysalis, and then whatever it had left over, its own Chrysalis would cross the finish line in that. Then Kuldotha could sometimes get under it.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was interesting in the format because I didn't really have any success with the combo decks that I was playing. Like, my Tron combo or even Familiars would get dunked on by a deck with a ton of duresses.
Mm-hmm.
But literally every deck just was like, wait, I'll just put black in for Snuff Out. And the price of Snuff Out skyrocketed because you could actually just like every single deck had to play a free destroy for the Broodscale combo.
Everybody was respecting that. And the other deck of the start of the year that is maybe no longer with us is Kuldotha Red. That was the go-to red aggressive deck. Kuldotha Rebirth into a Bushwhacker, just getting in massive amounts of damage. And on that ban article, or maybe I'll get into more of the ban article once we get to the actual day of the ban there. I'll save it for that. But you still saw a Mono Blue Terror poking its head around. It didn't feel that good into Broodscale. So that was a little underrepresented. And we kind of talked about Fairy, same thing. Like Broodscale was such a problem matchup for that because you can't really deal with a Writhing Chrysalis, and you also can't really deal with the combo at the same time once it's on the board. Like you have some snaps, but you're not playing the color black for snuff outs. And we saw a lot of those mid-range decks going towards that.
Yeah, the Dimir Fairies deck was really on the rise there with the snuff out being the option. It was very difficult to face that with the Broodscale deck because Spellstutter Sprite is non-duressable. They've got snuff outs, just a whole host of interaction, really making the Jund version with Chrysalis a lot better in the format.
Any other decks like to start the year that were super? Luffy was doing Grixis Affinity things. Why?
But
people
that's per usual.
weren't doing that. But
Well, the beginning of the year
that's not-
was, I don't know. I think Aether Drift was the first set, and we can talk about the cards that were released.
yeah. Innistrad Remastered too was January
okay.
24th, 2025, and that didn't have a lot. The only cards I put down were Seize the Day, that kind of fun red instant sorcery. That seems like more like fun brew stuff, along with Abundant Maw, whereas like the other fun brew kind of card. But
yeah, we've got Brambleworm and Seize the Storm. So
Yep.
Brambleworm was kind
Bramble
of sick
Maw,
because I actually saw it in the mono red Dredge deck where they would, because it ETBs and gains life, so they would take it instead of playing Lawless Giant, they would just dread return the Brambleworm back and forth to gain tons of life.
That's hilarious. I never saw
So it was
that.
pretty sweet. Like I got punked by it playing Burn once. And then Seize the Storm is a really cool card. It's a 5 mana sorcery that makes a token, and the token's power and toughness is equal to the number of instants and sorceries in your graveyard plus any ones that have flashback that are currently in exile. So you can make a pretty big token, and people tried to play I think somebody played that in like a Jund deck. Nothing crazy, but it is now a legitimate win condition in Pauper, which is really cool. We can talk about it later in the year. I'm excited about that.
Awesome. But that didn't impact the format, and that had practically zero
Not at
waves
all.
in the format, but that's what you kind of expect from these little remastered.
For sure. The Brambleworm deck, or the card, actually was, I think, the thing that created the mono green Tron, which was the mono green life gain Tron, where they're just playing only life gain creatures.
Oh, okay.
Which was kind of sweet.
Is that different from the? Oh, that is different from like the black green.
It's just like Monster Tron.
Egg.
Tron. It's just like
Fangren Tron, but like tons of all gain
like
life creatures,
Boulder Branch Golem and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. So like another offshoot of Monster Tron. That's fun. Whatever you want to tap 7 mana for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
February 14th was Aether Drift, and this had a lot bigger format. Pauper. Oh my god. This had a lot bigger impact on the format. Those were words that came out.
Right. I was surprised when I was scrolling through the sets over the year. There were a lot more playables than I actually anticipated, because I only think about the format as kind of like a Modern Horizons format, but there's actually a lot of things that are seeing play or kind of powered up a couple of decks. Plus, one card from Aether Drift became like the new hotness just until the ban, but it was pretty much the new hotness for a bit there.
I agree. Like, just looking at the year overall when I was doing some research for it, I'm like, man, there were a lot of cards that impacted the decks, and it didn't felt like it stole the show like the Modern Horizons stuff, but there was some cool stuff like Pactdoll Terror, which we'll get into here, that a lot of cool things started happening around it, and that couldn't really happen without it. But not in an oppressive, like, Broodscale way where it's, why would you do anything else? It's, oh, this is a neat thing to do. And sitting here now, it's nice that we have that as an option, and that I'm glad that card's in the format.
Yeah, that card's very cool. I know, Jake, you're a big fan of that card too.
For sure. You want to go through the cards that you thought you wanted to pick out from Aether Drift?
Yeah, definitely. Grimbauble was like the obvious one for me. Like, not now, but looking at the set when it came out, because I'm a Glint Hawk fan. So
Same.
I saw them like, oh, this is insane. It's a stab we can pick up. And I was talking to my buddy Austin a couple weeks before Aether Drift spoilers started, and I told him, I'm like, we need a stab that I can pick up with Glint Hawk. And then it happened the next set, and I looked at him, and it was
right
really
before the
weird.
spoiler.
Yeah, it was really weird. So I said with Flash would be really cool, but hey, we didn't get it. But this was pretty cool still. I mentioned Pactdoll Terror; those were the two biggest. Then Chitin Gravestalker was kind of like that big cost less for each creature in your graveyard guy. So we've seen some neat stuff around that. We've seen some black-green sack, some different mono-black sack lists revolving that. Then
it was also the kind of the juke for the Cycle Storm deck.
Oh, I did not know. That's cool.
So Chitin Gravestalker is a 5 and a black, I think, and it's cost reduced by artifacts and creatures in your graveyard. So in Cycle Storm, now that we don't have Deadly Dispute, it is a
spoilers.
A full juke plan. No. So it's like a sweet full juke plan, especially versus blue decks, where now they have to respect a 5/4. They can't like get rid of all the things they want to get rid of. You're pressuring them from a couple of different angles, and then you can win the game, like, or you can just like play a slow game where you're just attacking. They remove it a couple of times and you just bring them all back with Reaping the Graves and play it again. It's like pretty good. It's a very good plan.
It almost gives you like Writhing Chrysalis angle in that combo deck.
Oh yeah. That's a good analogy for sure. And then the other thing in Aether Drift was Magmakin Artillerist, which is a 1/4 for 2 and a red, I think. That you can cycle it for 1 and a red, and whenever it gets cycled or you discard a card, you ping your opponent. So people were super excited about that one because it has this nutso like end step win the game that you can do, where if you put a Snake Umbra on it and you have more than 7 cards in hand, you just draw your entire deck and kill your opponent.
I have not seen that once.
Oh man, I did a video with it. It was really fun. But so it exposed this weird rule thing where if you go to cleanup and you discard and then you get priority again, and then things can start happening again.
This is a thing that happens in or used to happen more in CDH. Actually,
Gitrog monster.
Yeah, there's some weird commander deck with it.
Yeah, we used to like discard like more salvage.
Yeah, the trigger Gitrog, because triggers can't go on the stack in the cleanup step, so it makes a new end step to put triggers on the stack with, and then you will get another round of priority, like you said. So that deck, I remember hearing rumbles about that. We need a Kalikaiz 2025 like greatest hits, Just all like the times you popped off on Moto. That'd be a cool video idea. That'd be a pain in the butt. To go through
It'd still be a cool video.
Oh man,
to go through and find that. That'd be really cool to like find like the greatest hits of like you just playing whatever D-list combo deck you're playing going on
when it finally works.
yeah,
We played. It was like Muldrifter Scam Grixis, where you were going like not dead after all on the Muldrifter to get a bunch of cards in hand.
yeah.
And like Village Rights the Muldrifter after you not dead after all it to just like gain tons of life, and then putting Ophidian Eye on the Artillerist and then
Oh, that's
go to
sick.
clean up and kill your opponent.
Yeah,
That is really
that is
fun.
Really
sick.
fun.
That is sick. You just need a
There was
lot of
Tandem
mana.
Lookout plus Unearth.
Ah, yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. Well, that's the one cool thing about Pactdoll Terror from Aether Drift was it was kind of like the perfect moment for that card because it ended up, I believe, winning the Pauper that
It did.
round since it basically was just a mono black control deck. So you could play Black Green Gardens with tons of snuff out. You have sweepers and life gain for Kuldotha. You have removal spells for Terror. So you have all the different top 3 archetypes were covered, and then you just like drain your opponent out, which I know people had a really good time with.
Which I remember now that I completely forgot about that. And I was excited. I'm like, man, this is gonna be like a sick era, like a sick reign of Pactdoll Terror. And then it kind of just
like
disappeared.
didn't do anything for like months.
No one played it after.
Well, I think snuff out stonks went way down.
Yeah.
And then, well, there's at the same time, like mono black was not so good anymore. And I think that's because the meta was so like solidified into just 3 decks with like Kuldotha, Terror, Broodscale that you could have exact answers in your control deck and always like get there. But now it's very wide, or you're kind of varied even in the builds of things that people are doing right now. So it's like not as good. It looks so clunky right now when you face a Pactdoll Terror Gardens. You're like, ha ha ha, get out of here with this nonsense.
Yeah.
I've liked the card a lot in Altertron. Alexander, one of our locals at Middle Tennessee Gaming, he's always playing Altertron, and I've got to play him once, and I was playing Turbo Fog, and he just dumpstered me with Altertron because it's terrible. Like, I'm just gonna watch you go off. Basically, my only plan was to hope that he went for the combo and made a bunch of golems, and
Right.
I can't remember if there's something that give him haste or anything, but I don't think so. But make all these golems, and for every golem he makes,
And then you just fog forever.
for every golem he makes, my Weather of a Storm will gain 6 life because he has to Mirror Retriever to pick it up for all that
Right,
mana.
3 loops of Mirror Retriever per golem, so then your Weather Storm makes a ton of life, and then you have to attack a bunch of times, and then you have the fogs and the stuff. It's like a math game that you don't want to play, so you just play an infinite win condition in your deck, so you don't have to deal with that nonsense.
Exactly. The Pactdoll, I'm like, he had the combo out, and I'm sitting there looking at the Weather Storm in my hand, and I have the Crypt Rats Tox analysis, and I'm like, I'm gonna win this. Like, I'm gonna win. This is
that'd be
gonna be
good.
sick. And then he's just like, okay, Pactdoll Terror. I'm like, no. And I'm like, this is gonna be so cool. And I just died instead. But
Man,
I think like for the how here we are now in the present time, I really like Pactdoll Terror in the Altertron deck. It looks really sick and makes me want to play Tron lands. Which
You do?
well, there's a really fun version of the Tron deck that you actually might like. It's more of like a mid-range combo. It doesn't do any. It's called like data. It's by this guy Data Pusher. It is not a, and it is another thing that was in Final Fantasy. So I guess we'll get into it later. But that's it. Put a pin in that. I will bring this one back up.
I
But I want to talk about a couple of other cards.
All right, hit us.
There was in Aether Drift, I tried to pick out all the cards that I felt like made an impact, and then note the ones that I felt like were S
Show up.
for
S for staples.
staple. S for staple. I was thinking in my head stonk, but that doesn't make sense.
I like
Beast
S for
Rider
stonks
Vanguard is
better.
like Beast Rider Vanguard is a new way to draw all the creatures in your deck for walls, which was cool. Engine Rat was another was a drain life infinite win, kind of similar to the one in Glee, but now that Glee is banned, you can use it in your awesome Pili Pala combo deck, which I enjoyed greatly.
Fun fact, there was someone playing that Pilly Pally combo deck at this Win-A-Duel that I was playing in this past weekend.
Oh gosh.
Pilly Pal is good. I mean, 4 duress
Did they win a
main.
duel?
They did not.
They did not win the duel.
No,
Next time.
Strata Games won a duel though.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, he and I were playing the same thing.
You like that deck?
The mono black deck he was playing, yeah, I mean it's really good. I'd watched some of his content on it before, so I knew it was good. And somebody else I knew from up in Kentucky also played it or played his list in a tournament, and I really really enjoyed like the sadistic glee aspect instead of playing like the Beckoner or whatever. So,
Yeah.
What deck did you play?
I played Jund.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
I got
why'd you play
confused.
Jund?
Why did I play Jund?
Yeah.
Because I finally had I had a sideboard guide for it, and I was like, I don't know, the deck is just good, and I want to win a duel, so I'm gonna try to win a duel.
That is the funniest reason I've ever heard to play. I think the deck's good. It's just like, I had the sideboard guide, so I decided to play it. I like that.
Take out some of the brain power. Focus on the games.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
The final card that I noted from Aether Drift was Ride's End, which didn't make a splash initially, but one of the players from the Familiars Discord that plays a lot of FAMs in Italy is Chaotic MTG. I don't know their actual name, but they've been playing Ride's End as like a replacement for Lose Focus. It's 4 and a white to exile a creature or vehicle, but if it's tapped, it costs only 1 and a white. So
correct.
you can like kill a it's like a cast down for a tapped creature, but exiles it forever. So it's good against Snacker, I imagine. I don't like it personally quite so much in Familiars, but they seem to like it a lot. So wanted to note that one for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting because it doesn't get cost reduced in that deck. That's kind of funny.
Oh, I didn't even
Yeah.
think about that. Yeah, it doesn't. Huh.
Interesting.
It was funny. I mean, what removal spell will?
No, there's not one, but
yeah. Green ones, but not doing a whole lot of that. Yeah, I think that wraps up for Aether Drift. So we talked about those Pactdoll decks, and then Grim Bobble's pretty obvious. It slotted right into Black White Blade, and we've seen it pop up in there since. And good at dealing with those pesky red decks and white decks. If you just have a removal spell, you have 8 ways to pick back up. It's pretty crazy. Before the next set, we had a ban announcement hit us in March 31st. We had 3 cards banned in Basking Broodscale, Kuldotha Rebirth, and Deadly Dispute.
yeah, it was a big shakeup.
Yeah, Basking Broodscale made a lot of sense. The whole thing was, it felt like it was the only combo deck that was worth playing, like we talked about before. It pressured every deck to want to be black for Snuff Out, and it really centered in, like Callie, like you said, this 3-deck meta of Jund Broodscale, Jund Wildfires, and then Mono Blue Terror. Felt like if you weren't playing one of those 3 decks, it's what are you really doing?
Right.
And you could argue
Well, it's
Kuldotha
funny.
too.
It's funny because just before that Pauper get-in, and probably unknown to the PFP at the time, Giorgio Combo and then EHDM, a couple other Magic Online grinders were working on the 5-land Spy deck, which they felt had an insane win rate against Kuldotha, Terror, and Glee, because it was just a 1-card combo. You literally just go ramp, you're dead.
So yeah, we can get into that right after this ban announcement too, but that makes sense.
So that was the initial version of the 5-land Spy, and they kept it a straight secret. They didn't tell anybody. They kept going 4-0 drop, brought it to Paupergeddon, and I think neither of them day 2'd, which was unfortunate for them. But if they had revealed that before, maybe it would have changed the bans, because it was not the only combo deck you could play, especially because they felt like it was a good spot. It's just interesting.
There's an alternative timeline that somewhere in another multiverse.
Shouldn't have kept it a secret.
Yeah.
Secrets don't make friends.
But yeah, secrets get cards banned.
But
Did you hear
also,
that?
what else happened in that same announcement, Cameron?
We had 2 unbannings in Prophetic Prism, which was super free, and then High Tide was unbanned, which Callie, you could take the floor on that one if you want it.
So initial discussions about High Tide unban did not take into account the fact that a deck that completely destroys High Tide would not exist, basically. Like, Basking Broodscale combo with 4 duress in the main deck and a turn 3 combo would absolutely destroy.
You would have
High Tide.
annihilated that deck. Yeah.
I initially
agree.
played some Pili Pala post ban and absolutely destroyed High Tide. It was not close. It's just too much interaction plus the combo. So I didn't really expect that High Tide would get unbanned. And then when it was initially unbanned, people were playing lists that I felt were like not very good. And I was having a hard time playing the deck. We all know, like, you play High Tide, your land's tapped for more mana, and then you cast an arcane spell, you splice Psychic Puppetry onto it, and then you can untap your land. But that costs 3 mana, for example, for Ideas Unbound plus Psychic Puppetry. So you have to get 2 High Tides in play, and then it's kind of hard to go off fast. So I think that what they thought was that it was going to be a turn 4.5 deck. But unfortunately, what ended up happening was I discovered that you could use Hidden Strings as a 2-mana ritual to bridge the gap between 1 High Tide in play, I'm mana neutral or mana negative, straight up going to mana positive really quickly. And that, I think, accelerated the deck a lot. But the other issue that they had the whole time was that a lot of players were not clear on whether or not it would exist or continue to exist, or like long term. So they weren't picking it up.
And to preference this real quick to butt in, sorry I didn't mention, they did say with Prophetic Prism and High Tide that these were trial unbans. So they're going to try something new, that they're going to unban these cards with the preference of, if this is way better than we thought it would, we will not hesitate to say, get out of here. And Prophetic Prism was super safe, I felt like.
Yeah.
But I just thought that's a good point to what you're saying real quick too, of that people are like, okay, why am I going to learn this deck if it's gonna get banned maybe?
I think they probably thought it was going to be like a meme deck, similar strength to Poison Storm, where Poison Storm's good enough to win sometimes, but most of the time not. And
that deck has like a 70% win rate.
Best deck in the format. So Poison Storm and High Tide are different things for sure. High Tide was really, really bad initially into the Mono Blue Fairies deck. It basically, you can't beat that deck with the High Tide deck. They just have a clock and too much disruption. And it was also relatively bad into like the black red burn deck.
Oh, okay.
And people were playing builds that weren't as fast, and people didn't know how to play the deck. So I think the biggest issue for the format was people not knowing how to play the deck. And since that was the case, people would go really slow, and then everyone would get tilted watching their opponent try to figure it out for 45 minutes in paper or whatever, which is hilarious. But
I know during Team Trios, I played against it, and I texted Discord and I'm like, yeah, this sucks.
That was also the same day where I played mine on camera for everyone to see.
Yeah.
So in the end, what I would do when I was playing in paper would be, I realized, hey, I'm not playing any permanents. I just have my lands. So I put my lands near the front of the battlefield, put my Psychic Puppetries underneath them, announce a spell, say it's plus X mana, draw the cards, no tapping, untapping, nonsense, shenaniganery, lots of shortcutting, very, very quick. I think also my best time in Magic Online, where I was able to complete the combo turn and the entire game, was like 22:30 on clock, which is pretty fast. Whereas people on Magic Online play burn and are timing out. So, I mean, it just comes down to being able to pilot it. But there initially, because so many people said this deck is probably really good, I have to try it, but they didn't know how to play it. The win rate was poopy pants. And when people realized, okay, I suck at this, and they quit, or they kept at it and they got better, then eventually the win rate went up to probably where it is. And unfortunately, I think due to win rate, that's probably why it would end up getting
I feel
banned.
like I remember the moment that I was like, okay, this is like really become an issue. Was it some qualifying or event, I think, in the hands of
Max Smith?
One of the Max Smith, that's who it was. Yeah, Max Smith won a tournament with it, and I'm like, okay, there it is. Somebody like really good got their hands on it, and now they know.
I was so sad because I actually built that deck. The Pedal Festival deck that High Tide uses the engine of was one that I worked on with Brian Cook in 2021, I think. And I developed the Stream of Thought loop. So like all of that was stuff that I was an expert in, but I couldn't convert in any of the major events. I was so sad.
So that was like I said, one of two unbans. The other one was Prophetic Prism, and Flickertron.
It just makes Flickertron a deck that can even possibly exist.
Yeah.
That's really what it's done.
That's about where we've seen it. Maybe in some other weird shenanigans, but mostly there, like you said.
The Ultratron deck's playing Prophetic Prism.
Oh yeah, that's true too. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, so just
Tron decks.
Yeah, Tron decks.
Tron decks playing this one.
Yeah, play Prophetic Prism and have fun. One more note on High Tide too. There was a cool hybrid like FAMs list. It's still built. It's sitting on my desk, and it just played like 2 or 3 High Tides. It was cool. I thought that list was cool. It made the FAMs combo like easy mode. Probably a little unnecessary, but easy mode.
The first weekend after High Tide unban, I played in the Friday Challenge, and I bubbled into 9th with that deck.
It was cool. So did you ever play that deck more, or?
Yeah, I played it on and off a lot. It was hard to say whether or not FAMs was better with High Tide or not with High Tide. I think like a couple of them made sense because you could easily go like Tide, Mancer, get back Tide, play the Tide, snap the Mancer, play the Mancer. Now you have infinite mana.
Mm-hmm.
There was already a similar deck to this in the format, which is a Bant version of Familiars, or we called it Rainbow Familiars, where you play Utopia Sprawls, Fertile Grounds on your forest, and then it's a similar situation where if you can get the right amount of mana, you can snap your Mancer for infinite mana. So we were sort of like prepared to have that play pattern already when High Tide was released.
And to shuffle backwards, we already mentioned the Basking Broodscale ban, but then Kuldotha Rebirth was banned as well. Mm-hmm. The PFP talked a lot about how it had this crazy game 1 win percentage, and then every deck was prepared for the red deck. That's just how it's been in Pauper for a long time. You just got to respect the red deck. And then the win rate would just drastically go down. They mentioned freeing up sideboard space is another thing if people always have like 4 Weather Storms and whatever, which I think is going to happen regardless, even if mono red.
It doesn't matter. 2. It doesn't matter the format because whatever deck is at the top, there is some like sideboard card that is good against said deck, and then whatever color that card happens to be is just going to be one of the better decks to play.
I think that's always a weird reason for a ban is like the free up sideboard spots. It's like, okay, it's just going to be like 4 different cards, or people are still going to play 4 Weather Storms or 3 Weather Storms in their sideboards.
I think it was that they felt that people were playing 6 to 8 Hydroblasts like all the time, every single blue deck. And
I think we're still there.
That may or may not still be the case.
I feel like it's worse now than it was then.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
It's definitely worse.
I will say the mono red deck of now is way cooler.
It is sweet. We gotta wait for it, but very, it's very awesome.
Cool. I was okay with that ban because it felt like the deck was pretty meh sometimes, and then out of nowhere they'll just Kuldotha Bushwhacker you if they have like that blistering fast start. It's like, man, I had like a turn 3 breath weapon and it wasn't good enough. They already pushed their Bushwhacker through and they got through with whatever was left over.
So when I started playing Pauper, I feel like you really had to work for your things that you wanted to do. You had to play a 2-mana Core Skyfisher to pick up your 2-mana Prophetic Prism, to replay your 2-mana Prophetic Prism, to make 5 and a white, draw 2 cards, 2/3. Like, that's a lot of mana for... Now it's play a 1 single white, pick up your 1 single red, you just drew 3 cards or whatever. Like, you're playing... It's much more efficient now. Where was it going? Oh, yes. You had to work to get things done. With Kuldotha Rebirth and with Glee, anybody could pick up the deck, not have any idea what they were doing, and go Kuldotha Rebirth, Bushwhacker. Or turn 2 Broodscale, play Glee. And it's kind of like that meme where in the beginning of the bell curve, the person's like, I don't know, play Broodscale on 2. And then in the middle, like, no, you have to play around removal. Yes. And then the expert level's like, play Broodscale on 2.
Dude, I reference that all the time with Terror.
I don't know, Kuldotha.
I reference that all the time with Terror, though, where it's like, oh, maybe I should play around like Cart Clan Shaman Toxin Analysis. And it's like, nah, they don't have it. or whatever. Just like the two, it's the same thing, the same meme.
Turns out I had it this weekend.
Yeah. Okay. Well, feels like when I have my play in that kind of deck, my opponent just like slams forward. I'm just like looking at this toxic analysis, trying to draw this card clinch. I'm like, where are you? But that's funny you mentioned that. I reference that all the time. But I get you. Those decks kind of felt a little bit. It had like that easy mode, kill you out of nowhere potential.
And that's what I liked about High Tide was that it was not easy mode. It was hard mode. But that's I think
hard mode to sit and
caused
watch
problems for the format. Well, if it wasn't so hard to execute, then it would have had a higher win rate and it would have been banned immediately.
Yeah,
That is very true.
By being hard to execute, it had a really good win rate only for experts who could actually execute it. And then for people who couldn't, they just floundered and then wasted everybody's time. And then the main problem that everybody had with it was that their time was being wasted.
I also didn't like losing to it.
Well, yeah.
That's a different conversation.
Nobody likes losing.
But yeah, that's Kuldotha Rebirth. Had this really fast start. The deck kind of felt okay, but then it would just have these really unbeatable starts, and that like polarization between games is why it got the axe overall. Then Deadly Dispute was the third card ban, March 31st.
I called this one a mile away. I've been calling for, like, not calling for it necessarily, but saying it was going to happen for a while prior to it happening.
Yeah.
I felt pretty confident.
I think it's unfortunate that Deadly Dispute got banned because I think it would not have gotten banned if artifact lands didn't exist.
That's a whole
The
conversation.
main thing that Deadly Dispute does is I think the main enabler that it creates is that it enabled Writhing Chrysalis too fast. Sure. That's not great. But it also enabled a lot of Weather the Storm chains, which I think also helped push down red. And now that we don't have Deadly Dispute making all this random extra treasures, it's much harder to do Weather Storm chains to survive against this Fire Blast deck now.
Yeah, all the black decks have a much harder time dealing with the red decks than they did previously. I 100% agree.
It felt like every black deck was kind of playing this package of Ichor Wellspring and Deadly Dispute, like 4/4, and that was the start of Basking Broodscale. That was the start of John Wildfires, and again, that treasure ramping you into Writhing Chrysalis was very powerful. And in the Basking Broodscale deck, where it barely played red mana just to play that makeshift munitions and just to play that Writhing Chrysalis, that treasure really was the forefront of it. Hippo, you said you called that banned, and I also said it would feel very unimpactful.
You did. I didn't necessarily disagree with you, but I did call that one was the best of the
yeah.
draw. I mean, it was very clear that was the best of the draw tiers.
I agree. In not that I don't think it deserved to be banned or anything. You would feel the impact of the card if it was around, but now that it's not around, it almost feels like it was a really weird ban because all these decks, like all the decks that were playing with draw 2 effects, just played a different draw 2. Like it didn't really hurt Turbo Fog.
Yeah, most of them have just moved over to the
Inviscerator's Insight.
Fanatical.
Yep. Oh, yep. Inviscerator's Insane Fanatical. Yep.
Playing it from the perspective of the Pactdoll Terror Tron player, let's say I have turn 2 Wellspring. I can turn 3 Dispute the Wellspring, turn 4 Pactdoll Terror, even if I don't have Tron, as long as I make 3 land drops. But I could Dispute the Wellspring, find my other Tron land, use the treasure to crop, and now I have Tron online, and then now I'm going crazier. Like, it enabled some really crazy shenanigans in that deck, and that deck has felt almost unplayable to me since it was gone.
Okay.
Just because it was so powerful to have that Lotus Petal floating around.
Yeah.
It was a big game.
I think, again, it was by far it is probably 2 out of line for the format. Just getting rebated half of the spell's mana cost is pretty huge right away. And then, like you said, be able to take a game action right after is pretty big.
Yeah.
In the decks that mattered, it mattered a whole lot.
There was another thing that happened was it made it harder to get red mana in bridge decks, which made it so I think that caused the resurgence of elves with all the mass vandals in the main deck. They're having a much easier time staying away from Krark-Clan Shaman by exiling all of the red lands.
Yeah, that makes sense. So overall, with Basking Broodscale, Kuldotha Rebirth, Deadly Dispute, are we a thumbs up on this ban announcement, or at least these bans?
Yeah, for me, yeah, that they were all good.
Not the unbans, right?
Yeah, just for the bans for now.
Just the bans. The bans were fine. I think the bans were good.
Hey, it's Thomas here in the editing booth. It's a thumbs up for me. For the most part, I do think that I like some of the points that Jake is making about Deadly Dispute, and I do think that Deadly Dispute kind of allowed Black to play at a power level that some of the other colors are kind of getting to be more of a highlight on in the top of the meta. So I thought that was just or at least in terms of Black, it's either, it's not just refurbish familiar as much as the treasure is also artifact that's good there, but you can do some other things with powerful Black cards, and I thought that was interesting. Anyway, back to the boys.
I initially was like, I was skeptical of what the high tide package, like, it was a deck that I wanted to be good and like it to fit in exactly the space that Wizards like had envisioned for it, and it just was kind of unfortunate that it just like kind of got outside of the bounds of what they were looking for. Because honestly, one of my favorite decks in Legacy of old was watching like a high tide player go off in Legacy. My thing with it in Legacy is like there was so much free interaction in Legacy. I'm like, yeah, this is what like
Days,
fine.
Force Will,
Here's Days Force of Will, Thoughts.
Like you're rooting for the underdog there.
Yeah, exactly. Like it felt a little bit different. Like that was not the most reliable deck.
Reanimate.
But watching some of like the coolest cards in like Magic's history cast, like Time Spiral, is just really like fun for me. But yeah, in this space, it just felt a little bit differently. Again, I can say it's not that I necessarily have a problem with like that deck in other spaces, but it just did not feel like it lined up here like it needed to.
And for the ban announcement overall, I really agree with it. I agree with the bans, and honestly, I agreed with the unbans at the time. I'm glad they tried something new. I like that they said, hey, this might not be forever. I'd rather them experiment taking stuff off the ban list than wait 15 years with Prophetic Prism on the ban list for no reason.
Oh, it had a reason at the time.
Yeah, but times are changing.
Yeah.
Well, coming up, like in retrospect, there were some players that I know when High Tide was being talked about being unbanned years like ahead, where they said High Tide will either do nothing or ruin the format and therefore should stay off or stay on the ban list.
That was a call.
And that's really just what happened.
Yeah.
So some players also said like maybe it's not a great idea to make it unbanned because you think nothing will happen.
That's a good point.
But I don't know. I think
what's the goal?
I think having Prophetic Prism replacing, like, you didn't need Prophetic Prism because you had Deadly Dispute, but now with Deadly Dispute gone, Prophetic Prism coming back is kind of like a fair trade,
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Absolutely.
For these Tron decks and stuff. Like, okay, you can still have good-ish mana, but it's not breaking everything. Whereas High Tide was just like, we don't think it's going to be good enough to destroy the format, but it ended up, it was too good. So then the other concern is like, I wish they had just said it's totally legal at the first trial unban end, and then in another month said, oh, big mistake. Because then everybody would have practiced it and got good at it and then put the win rate up. Because I think that people who are really dedicated to trying to learn a deck and make it good, they waffled for a long time and they didn't put the effort in, and then finally we saw the win rate go up.
I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot with this one, is that they didn't tell you exactly what the trial period was. Like there was no like definitive.
Well, they said mid-October and they never did anything.
Yeah, and they said
it was a 3-month trial.
Yeah, and then they just like kept going because they didn't have data or whatever, and I'm like, okay. They
shouldn't have kept going. They should have said, we currently don't have a reason to ban it, therefore it is unbanned for realsies.
Yeah, but I hate that, because then if people spend money on the cards and practice it and spend time, I think more people would be pissed off if they said, hey, last month you said it's just unbanned, and then a month later you're like, no, you banned it. I just spent $10 on High Tides and these really bulk Kamigawa cards that won't see play anywhere
Those
else.
are my favorite cards.
I'm sure they are.
You can still play Pedal Festival.
Oh, you and your Bushido mechanics. Oh, God. You said you opened boxes of it?
No, I used to draft Kamigawa back in the day on Magic Online.
Oh, okay.
And I did really well with Pedo Festival when we were working on it, like in 2021.
Okay, that's funny.
It was sweet.
But fast forwarding from the bands, we talked a little bit about the following Paupergeddon, and then we talked about some of the Italians were focusing on this 5-land spy deck, and that was kind of the talk of the town. And it kind of flopped a little bit, but it had a pleasant jump back up since Basking Broodscale's gone. There's this room to play combo decks again, or explore with a bunch of different combo decks, and we really saw 5-land spy and some people playing 4-land spy really spread its wing and cement itself as the spy deck. I now feel like nobody really talks about 1-land spy that much for the best spy deck, or at least you don't see it as often.
Yeah, it's just like way less consistent, and that's the issue.
Giorgio Combo said that the reason that they wanted to do the 5-land and 4-land spy was he felt like he was always waiting for rituals anyway, and he couldn't go off till turn 4. So he felt it was better to play a deck where instead of playing rituals, you played getting lands and putting mana in play, which is kind of like playing a ritual in the first place, with the same timing. And he felt that turn 4 wins were the standard in Pauper, especially for a disruptive deck. So it made it like a pretty clear choice.
No, I like that reasoning. That checks out. But Tarkir Dragonstorm was April 11th. Some big highlights there was Sagu Wildling, that again, just right into the spy deck. This is one of the main ways they're getting their lands out of their deck. Land Grant, now Sagu Wildling Generous, and they just happen to make these really good backup plans too, where if you overboard for these graveyard combo decks, it's like, oh, they're beating the crap out of me with Sagu Wildling and Generous, and God forbid an Avenging Hunter if they got Gasp 5 lands in play. Salt Road Pack Beast was another just slot right into the mono white weenie deck. That was is it 5 and a white or 6 and a white?
5 and a white.
5 and a white for a 4/3 ETB draw card. So that's a pretty cool card. Then we got Heritage Reclamation, which is 1 of the green sorcery or instant. Choose one, destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, or remove a target card from a graveyard and draw a card. So that's
up to one target.
Up to one target. Okay, so you could just cycle it for then basically.
Yep.
And so that's just a super flexible card that we've seen in a ton of deck. And like we mentioned, Spy being popular, Jund has been picking up this card quite a bit.
Yeah, another cool thing that came out from this set was they introduced a new mechanic called Omen. Which definitely got some people in the format like kind of brewing up a little bit. It's like, hey, now that we basically can't deck ourselves because we have there's the 2 mana one that like makes a 2/2 and then shuffles back into your deck. So that was like a really cool way to go about that.
The Omens, actually, they were all dragons. So a couple of people were working on trying to make like a Teamer Dragons deck using there's a card for 1 in a red that deals damage equal to the power of a dragon you control or that you reveal from your hand. So it's kind of like a red cast down.
Yes.
Which is sweet. It's like a Teamer control deck. But then Stormshriek Feral went in mono red Dredge, mono or red black Madness, a couple other things. I played it in my Ruby Storm decks. We also had Seize Opportunity, which is 2 in a red for a Reckless Impulse effect, or give +2/+0 to target to 2 creatures. And it's instant speed, so you could play it on your opponent's end step. And then there was a card Mardu Devotee, which is I think just a white.
It is,
and you can filter into Mardu colors. And people were pretty excited about trying to play Mardu and White Weenie, but it didn't really end up working out.
I thought that card was going to be sick.
I saw some people trying to play like bully list, and it just like couldn't quite catch on.
I was pretty high on that card, and it just didn't do it.
You gotta have draw a card. It doesn't draw. It doesn't say draw a card. It's not good enough.
It doesn't replace itself. Exactly. It only like halfly does it. Come on.
It's scryed when it came in, right? Scryed like 1? Surveil 1 or whatever?
I can't remember.
Something like that.
That never got played. I don't know.
I don't recall.
I do not
you
remember.
You could put like you reduce the mana cost, you add draw a card, Pauper playable.
0 mana. Yeah.
No, we also had a replacement for what were we playing before? The card from Kaldheim in the Fairies deck.
Brian Barrow Intruder?
Yeah, we had a replacement for that in Humbling Elder.
They still play Brian Barrow.
Yeah, some of them do.
I think
not a
they
replacement. You can play either one.
They just play Humbling Elder in the sideboard.
I play main deck.
It
Oh,
feels
okay.
like
Yeah, doesn't matter.
everyone is playing Humbling Elder instead of Brine Barrow Intruder, and I don't actually know why, because I think Brine Barrow is also a human, right? I don't get it.
Yeah, they're both
But
human.
I feel like I'd never see Brine Barrow Intruder anymore.
I think it's a new it's the new kid on the street thing. It's like, oh, we have a new toy. I'll throw this old one away.
Yeah. But and that card's an extremely important card for Fae against the opposing Fae decks, and then also the mono red rally decks or even mono white humans.
Right.
It just trades in any creature combat. Like it just makes
Exactly.
it a nightmare.
Like not good in like the mono red madness particularly, or against Writhing Chrysalis super well. Maybe you can get one of your things not to die. Maybe, but just a very nice card in that edition.
There was also Focus the Mind, which is 4 and a blue for draw 3, discard 1, and it costs 2 less if you've cast another spell this turn. So I saw that in like Dimir Fairies.
That is a sweet one. I liked that card in that limited format.
There's a strange combo with that deck, or with that card, using Merchant Scroll. So it turns Merchant Scroll into a 5-mana draw 3, discard 1 by scrolling
okay.
for the Focus of Mind.
That makes sense.
That's kind of interesting. You could also teachings for it too.
You can.
Yeah, it's a lot more expensive then, though.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
I think people did play it in Tron.
That does not surprise me in any way.
Now we're getting
shape,
to
or
the good
form.
stuff.
Antioch Wayfarer was Antioch, a nuke. Antioch's a town
Enoch?
here, huh?
Enoch.
Antioch. I like Antioch. Antioch Wayfarer is just another one of those one of the green
For those in
1/1s.
Middle Tennessee, if you know, you know.
One of the green 1/1s that just mills 4 cards and picks up a land. It's just the same text as Seder Wayfinder, basically. So, am I thinking of the right card? Yeah, I'm thinking of the right card. Perfect. So this was a kind of.
Are you?
I don't
God,
think so.
I don't think
Actually,
you are.
no, I'm not thinking.
I was like, I don't think you are.
No, I'm thinking of Town Greeter. Actually,
You are thinking of
from-
Tangreter. That's from the next.
That's
set.
from Final Fantasy.
Whoops. Well, you could cut that.
So Antioch Wayfarer, actually, you're correct. It ETB mill 3, put a land card in your hand.
It's
So
one
that was
less,
like-
yeah.
It's not good enough because it's not
Like at 4.
as good as the one that mills 4. So
Exactly.
people didn't add it. They might have experimented with it a little bit.
That makes sense. But pretty impactful set because we mostly see Salt Road Pack B's, Heritage Reclamation, and Saga Wildling. And again, not like these crazy cards that feel like they're choking the format, but they just show up quite a bit. And it's nice. I'm glad all great additions to format that I really like. And June 13th, it is summer now. It's hot in Tennessee.
It is hot in Tennessee.
And Final Fantasy releases.
Let's talk about a set that I was not a fan of to start.
Really?
It made my blood hot. That's for sure.
Why?
It just
Why?
initially wasn't like. I just initially I'm kind of in the very pessimistic about UB in general.
Okay, Boomer.
I know I am. I'm not denying it in any way, shape, or form.
You missed your episode to complain about this again.
I know. But yeah, that was kind of my. It was kind of so I was kind of off put at the beginning, and then I saw some of the cards that were being played, and I was like, okay, I can get a little more on board with this. It is also based in fantasy. Ha ha ha.
So we were. It's one of those sets where it's like I'm divorced from the IP, and it just looks like a Magic set, so I was cool with. But we were at our Pauper
Right, same with me.
monthlies, and spoiler season was happening, and I saw that Black Mage's Rod I saw the
I do
spoiler
remember
like during our Pauper monthly, and I was just hyped. And like, this card is sick. Like this in Pactdoll Terror, I'm like, this has to be a thing, right? Like this is gonna be a sick deck, but it didn't quite.
I got
work
a deck
out that
for
way.
you.
Oh, I know exactly what deck you're talking about. I watched that video last week. It was sweet.
What deck is this? Is it
it's,
Mardu?
it's a deck. No, it's a
So-
deck he released.
So this player, Data Pusher, he created a deck. He basically just put all. I was like, Eggstron, when I play it, it has a lot of action and not a lot of threats. It's got 1 Jace's Erasure. Eventually, you win the game. You'll probably just time out every single time. But what he did, he said, I don't want to time out anymore. So he put 4 Black Mage's Rod, 4 Pactdoll Terror, 2 Golem Foundries in the deck. So it's just, from my opinion, it looks like oops, all threats. And I played it. It was actually very fun because you're just like slapping things on the table and just casting stuff. You're drawing more cards than your opponent, and they have to deal with 8 different threats. up to 10. So eventually you just get to this point where you start storming off and like draining them out and pinging them out with your Black Mage's Rod and Pactdoll Terror. It's really cool. Definitely should check it out.
That sounds like something, because I'm really interested in playing Altertron, so that sounds super sick. Or at least having some number of Black Mage's Rod makes sense. It's funny you kind of mentioned that, the win condition thing, because I can't remember the card's name. It was like 4 and a white, and it returns any number of target artifacts from your graveyard on top of your library.
Your card that you
Frantic
like.
Salvage.
Yeah, yes, because I was talking about that. I showed Thomas this, and I'm like, dude, I think I cracked like Eggtron. Like Eggtron could just play this, and then a week later I saw you 5-0'd with it or something. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? It
you
was
accidentally
really funny.
discovered the thing we definitely have used the whole time.
Oh, okay. See, is that what it was? I thought I was like on this epiphany of like, this is insane. And then that's kind of like, that's kind of with like Nia Gates. I'm like, dude, Militia Bugler could grab Writhing Chrysalis. And I like typed in a list, or I like typed in Nia Gates on YouTube, and Jake, you pop up immediately. And I'm like, okay, so this wasn't originally my idea, but I did have the idea.
Yeah. So the original Eggstrom list was when Galvanic Relay was legal. It was just a bunch of 1-drops and Foundry Inspectors to chain like crazy, and then cast Galvanic Relay. Then eventually Conjurer's Bauble with Disciple of the Vault in play to drain your opponent out.
Jesus.
And in that deck, Birdman played Clear the Mind, which is 2 and a blue to shuffle your graveyard into your library, or target player's graveyard into their library. But then when Galvanic Relay got banned, we were looking for a different way to just like put stuff back on top. So you could like, let's say you had a Weather the Storm in hand, you just put all your artifacts on top, chain back through them, and then just slam a big Weather. And we were looking at Drafna's Restoration, but that doesn't draw a card. And Frantic Salvage, you could pick it up with a Mystical Teachings, and it also draws you into the pile. So that's why we picked that one.
Oh God, that's wild. That's funny. So Black Mage's Rod, mentioned that. That's probably one of the most impactful. Grixis Affinity has picked that up as just put stuff on the table, and then it being an equipment that can, once the initial germ in quotes dies, you could just reattach it to something else, and you still have this ping effect. So that's always nice. You need artifact removal to deal with it, or kill other creatures. That could work too.
The nice thing about Black Mage's Rod in Affinity is that it gives them lava, or it makes their Galvanic Blast a deal 5, so they can just like dome you really easily.
Yeah,
you can.
Yeah, and that deck has a lot of potential just to kill you out of nowhere now. Like Galvanic Blast and Black Mage's Rod and Makeshift Munitions is always something. It's like,
that's why I like the Mardu deck. A fair amount, because you can just kill them out of nowhere.
That makes sense. Yeah. Summon Chocomog was another big one. That was the new mechanic. We saw these Saga creatures, so they're Saga enchantment creatures that will go away after the final chapter is triggered. Mm-hmm. And this one was a 2 and a white for a 3/3. I believe it had 3 chapters. 4 chapters that were all creatures you control get +1/+0, or +1/+1 to win a turn.
+1/+0.
There we go. I knew it. Just a 6 slot for mono white.
That card's good.
Played it. You've played it.
It's been interesting to see whether or not people are playing it. It seems like people are playing like 3 or 4 pumps most of the time. So sometimes they're going like 2 and 2 with Guardian's Pledge. Sometimes they're playing all Chocomogs and like the one Steadfast Unicorn. Seems to be mostly player dependent, and there doesn't seem to be anything that's like very specific. But on Magic Online, there's a few pilots who like their own version of it, but not like so many people playing the deck that it's become homogenized.
Yeah, we have a guy in our local area around here who plays that deck a fair amount. I think he's on like 6 total pump effects or something like that. I don't think he's playing any Chocomogs. I think he's all in on like how good Guardian's Pledge is. Like he's a big, huge Guardian's Pledge fan.
That makes sense. Engine Speed's very nice. Can get people out of nowhere. Some other notable cards was Mysidian Elder. That was 2 and a red for, I think, a 2/1 that ETBs, and it creates these, gosh, what do they call them? I can't remember the tokens' names now.
I think the Mysidian Elder is like a 1/3, and it creates an 0/1 wizard token that whenever you cast a spell, it pings your opponent.
Correct.
So that was cool in the Tron deck because you could flicker it. Although it didn't see play until later in the year, actually.
Okay, I don't know why I thought the token had a specific name. It is not, but like a few other cards, like Cornered by Black Mages, and
Just makes like a black wizard token or whatever.
So there's a few cards that reference these 0/1 Black Wizards that whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. That's like the same effect as the Black Mage's Rod. But like you said, it's pretty cool for Flickertron to have a way to kill their opponent, actually. I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Catch and strays there. Red Mage's Rapier was a really cool card that just kind of slotted really nicely into hot dogs. It was 1 red for a artifact.
Does the same thing as the Black Mage's Rod, except on this one, the creature gets +2/+0 whenever you cast an instant or sorcery.
Yep, and then like equip 3.
Yep. And then it gets double strike, right?
A non-creature spell.
Yeah, not creature spell.
Double? Did you say double strike?
That would be sick, wouldn't it?
Oh god, I thought that'd be way too.
It's
good.
kind of
No, it's too
like
good. It'd be sick though with it.
it's
thought you said
almost a
double
Kiln Fiend. It's kind of like the other creatures that they play in Kiln Fiend. They get +2/+0. I didn't see this get a lot of results. I think maybe 1 or 2 people with Kiln Fiend, and we saw 1 or 2 people actually play it in Boros Synth to some results.
I
It's
thought
kinda
this
neat.
would have been. Burrow Simp is pretty cool, so you don't have to pay for 3. You could just re-equip it with a Glenhawk. I mean, if it dies, you have the Glenhawk to attach it to or whatever. I thought this card was going to show up a lot more. I was pretty high on this. Maybe it's a little underplayed. Go out there and win some games with it.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
Commune with Beavers was another pretty funny card. It is a singular green for a sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact, creature, or land from among them and put them in your hand. Put the rest of the bottom of your library in any order. So just another like 1 mana, hopefully draw a land or...
This is just another
Artifact
commune
creature.
card. There's a bunch of those. Yeah.
It's kind of cool. It's kind of like a Green Ponder.
But they already existed.
That's neat.
There's a bunch of these existed.
Have they?
Oh yeah, commune with like spirits, commune with dinosaurs, commune with... There's a bunch of commune cards been printed before.
Yeah, but if artifact, creature, or land, like that broad is pretty
No,
good.
that one's a little more broad,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like that style of effect has been
Yeah.
around a while.
You don't see that a whole lot either. Then Town Greeters was the card I got confused with earlier. It is 1 and a green for a 1/1. And I Googled Town Greeters and I got a brand of ice cream.
It's just one
Nice.
green for whatever.
You got
whatever creature
graders?
type. It just has Satyr Wayfinder text on it.
Correct.
Yeah, it's just
Gauge
Satyr
Wave.
Wayfinder.
So there you go. More stuff for that. Final Fantasy,
There's
another set that had... Oh, continue.
Oh, there's more, man. We got
There's
Suplex,
more?
which is
Yeah, Suplex is
the
a good one.
Abrade that exiles a creature.
Yeah.
Or
Do we see that,
artifact.
though?
So
Oh yeah, it's seeing play.
off and
currently.
on, yes. I believe Jeskai Ephemerate's been playing it as a way to get rid of Bridges or the Sneaky Snack. We also saw the Corner by Black Mages, which is the same effect as the Black Mage's Rod. And I think it's an Edict effect, right?
Yeah,
both
it
of
is. I
those-
thought that was a little bit of a flop.
Yeah, there's a couple players who still actually are able to 5-0 with this mono black Pactdoll Gardens kind of artifact deck, playing the Black Mage's Rod, Corner by Black Mages, and they're just kind of like looking to kill everything and eventually win the game. It's not the best way to get it done, but it is a way. And then in Final Fantasy, a card called Laughing Mad came out, which was a functional reprint of Electric Revelation, and then it ended up making the mono or the Gruul Storm deck, my Ruby Storm deck that uses the rummage effects, much better because it gave it a lot more redundancy, which was pretty sweet. I enjoyed that a lot. And then I also played around with Rook Turret, which was 3 and a blue for a 3/3 flyer. And it says whenever an artifact enters, you can loot. Enters under your control, which gives you a
some
ridiculous
combo
amount of
shenanigans
treasures.
with that.
You draw through your deck with Eggs or Altertron, and then you do the thing. Pretty fun. And then another card I think was underlooked initially was Resentful Revelation. It's 1 and a black for a Black Anticipate, where you look at the top 3, you pick one of them, and the rest go into your graveyard. And it has flashback for 6 and a black. So it is a way for the black-based Altertron deck or Eggstron or whatever to have an impulse, or instead of having to play like green for Ancient Stirrings or Malevolent Rumble, you're much more consistent and you can find your pieces, find your Tron or your combo pieces, which I 5-0'd with that recently and I have it on video. It was pretty fun. I think that's an upgrade for that deck specifically. But I saw that originally because Brian Cook played it. He does the channel The Epic Storm. He played it in Zubera Storm, basically increasing the consistency as well and getting the right pieces. Pretty sweet.
Is this the kind of card you think would? I know you've played like Rowan's Group Search and stuff in your like Ultra or your Tron decks or before ever.
Yeah.
I think this is a better version of that.
Well, the thing is that Tron wins if you have Tron online, but if you don't have Tron online, you just don't do anything. So that's in the most recent time that I tried it. I was trying to be like, okay, I just want to be consistently finding Tron and then even my next pieces. And it's okay if I dump extra combo stuff into the graveyard because I just want to make sure that I can have my engine.
That's fair.
But the reason that I like playing that specifically over something like Malevolent Rumble is Malevolent Rumble can't find your Weatherstorm. It can't find your other non-artifact, like non-permanent pieces that you may need. I hate milling over Weatherstorm, and I hate using Ancient Stirrings and not being able to pick my draw spells.
Yeah,
So that was a lot better for me.
That makes sense. I remember the first locals after this, there were just like 3 people, including Thomas, that were just on like this Black Mage's Rod, Pactdoll Terror. The Burr was on that too. So it was cool seeing just in our locals specifically too, just this rise of Pactdoll Terror because of Black Mage's Rod. And I think that let people kind of give Pactdoll Terror a second look and be, okay, this card's really sick. Because shortly after, I started seeing more John Wildfire's list just playing Pactdoll Terror too. That's not something you see a whole lot of now, but it was pretty cool of a time to see a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And
so this was in June, you said this came out?
This was in June, yeah.
I believe this was about the time that the Mono Red Madness deck started to appear.
Okay.
Not very much in league postings because, again, people were keeping it super secret. These Japanese players were testing this deck for their God of Pauper. And they were just absolutely dominating people in the leagues. And I was like, this deck is overpowered. I keep losing to it, but I don't see any results for it. I don't understand. Like, it would pop up now and then because people wouldn't be playing it too safe, I guess. And then now, once they had their event, they started releasing it, and it just become like a force in the format.
Yeah, then that's kind of the de facto red deck right now. And that is... I'd rather play a deck. It is super fun. It felt very awesome. You have these sick combo turns, basically, with turn 4, you can play a Gutter Snipe, bolt something, then they try to kill it, and you're like, cool, I have a Dart Owl flashback, and I'll sacrifice a Fire Blast. Trigger, you're dead.
Yeah, that deck stopped me from winning a duel.
Oof.
I have
Oh,
feelings.
no.
I have feelings.
That's okay.
So
what better way to go than Fire
Still
Blast?
tilted. I would be so mad, too.
What better way to go? No.
Yeah, I just like, I don't know.
Did we get to see Tilted Hippo? Or I didn't
there
see
was
him.
Tilted Hippo.
Oh, were you pissed?
I was kind of pissed. I was like, man, I played like pretty well all day.
So did they, it sounded like.
Oh yeah, they.
I can't do anything about it.
I'm not like mad about it. I just didn't like. That was the first time I played against a burn deck all day, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm about to get my completely handed to me. This is gonna suck, and that's exactly what happened.
I mean, it's good. It's gotta happen.
Would you rather lose to that or lose to High Tide?
With Jund, I guess I'd rather lose to the red deck. It's quicker.
You can't Hippo. You can't be tilted at people now.
I'm not.
You're a content creator.
I wasn't. I did not tilt until I got in the car.
Good job.
It starts
Man.
screaming.
No, I got in the car. I did one of the classic moves of just screaming tilt and then being done about it.
Oh, I was going to say punch the roof.
No, I didn't punch the roof like you did. I just screamed. I just screamed tilt and then I was done. I was like, man, that Gutter Snipe and Fire Blast is like really silly together.
Yeah, it is. Ah, man, that deck's cool. I'm glad that deck exists, to be honest.
It's just on that really thin line of
I do think it's close.
Too good. It's really close to. Yeah, it's real close. I think it's
definitely.
I think the amount of games where it just does the thing is really high.
Yeah,
it's really strong.
But that is a conversation for.
It's my backup deck for when I need to make tickets. The deck is really good.
Yeah, the bank's getting low. I need to go pick up my
burn
fees.
Some people out. So speaking of a faster round, I brought that deck when I first came out, one of the people locally put it together and they let me play it at the LGS. And you know that I play these combos that take a long time to execute. So I finished each of my rounds with like 35 minutes on clock, and I was like, I have no idea what to do.
Go get a drink.
Go get
I
a
was like
snack.
walking around the village. Went to the gas station.
There you go.
That's
Like, I should go to the bar.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
What do I do?
I've done that before.
Yeah, you have done that before.
Normally, when I finish the round, there's like 3 minutes left on clock, and I'm like frantically flinging my cards everywhere.
There's a bar at this new
It's a
place
weird
we go to
experience.
too. Not at the new place, but like right next
next
to
door.
it. There's a bar, so I guess that's something we could do too if we finish fast. And somewhere around the summertime too, we drove up to Indianapolis and we played in the NRG Pauper 1K. I top 8 of that with Fog, so that was pretty sick. Had a good time doing that.
Yeah, it's a fun time.
Um,
I played white at that
we
tournament.
did. We ended up getting
Bodied
paired.
Thomas round 1. That was
Bodied Hippo round, whatever.
Great. Yeah, you did.
So that was fun. So, oh man, we all got paired. That's funny. I didn't get paired against Thomas, but after that was Edge of Eternities in August 1st, the 1st of August. This was also another really cool set.
I think the cards that like made impact here all like made impact
yeah, like
here.
made a big splash. But again, not in a way that felt like all very welcomed additions,
Agreed.
I think. First of those was Cryogenic Relic. So
You will never get that card right.
what cryogen? God damn it! It's written down in front of me, and I still mess it up. Cryogen Relic. Why do I get cryogenic from? I don't know.
Cryogenically frozen.
I think that's why.
Yeah, that's exactly why you do that.
So Cryogen
I
Relic.
love this card.
I do too.
Yeah, this is a very
I'm
sick
gonna
card.
read it real quick. One in a blue artifact, and this enters or leaves the battlefield. Draw a card. It's like Ichor Wellspring, but it says leaves. One in a blue. Sacrifice this artifact. Put a stun counter on up to one target tapped creature.
There's a lot going on here. This like I know when this first came out, like I think the biggest like thing people were trying to do with it was make like the Boros decks like into Jeskai and try to like abuse the Jesus out of this thing.
I mean, I would say with the black
Yeah.
white blade decks, I
Yeah.
think my first thought was like, okay, let's splash blue.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
cast of this.
that's what some people ended up doing, and then like there was like the Familiars players who ended up playing it and or trying it in their shell, and then it just made its
The
way
Tron
over.
deck with my Sitting Elder.
Yeah,
Yep,
there's tons of places for this to go, and it's really cool that it has seen as much play. It did not have quite the impact that we thought it was going to, but it is still quite good.
Yeah, it shows up enough.
Oh yeah, totally.
Me and Austin just played games against it. I was playing John Wildfires. He was playing Esper Affinity. We just played some games today because our client canceled us the day of.
Because they don't know how
yeah, because
calendars work.
that's something else though. But
My favorite spot for Cryogen Relic was Poison Storm.
That
because
does not surprise
It's a draw 2 for the deck, which is good, obviously, but it also
You can proliferate stun
essentially
counters.
is a cast down. Yep, you
Yeah.
proliferate those stun counters. That thing never untaps.
me. That's right.
that is pretty sick.
Nice
I like
Writhing
that.
Chrysalis. But if you just keep proliferating counters onto the Writhing Chrysalis, you better make sure you find some more proliferation because that thing's huge. You
Yeah.
can't only proliferate the +1/+1. You have to proliferate all the counters.
No donkey.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
It's on a permanent.
So if they have energy counters on them and you're proliferating infect, they're getting more energy too.
yeah, because it's the counters on the player.
That's hilarious. I did not know that. Huh. The more you know. The classic
know.
trademarked huh. Parent Beckoner was another sick one. I'm going to pull that up because there's a lot of text on that one.
Yeah, it's a
too.
5-mana 4/5 with warp for 1 and a black, and then when it comes into play, a target creature gets +2/+0, and whenever this creature would die this turn, return it to the battlefield.
Tapped under its owner's
Sorry.
So
control.
that one
Control.
gives you
75% right. That's my Snape impression. Sorry.
it gives you a infinite combo, right? So
It
you
does.
can Beckoner a Beckoner and then use your infinite sacrifice, and just make infinitely large creatures or whatever.
Correct.
With carrion feeder.
Kind of sweet.
Yeah.
It doesn't come up a lot, and I almost had the combo when I was borrowing your deck, but I wasn't allowed. My opponent
Oh,
conceded.
you got an orange cat too.
Yeah, my son's birthday was in October.
Oh.
He turned 8, and he's been begging us for a cat for forever.
Yeah.
And we went on a bunch of cat dates. My wife researched all the local cats to adopt, and we ended up getting a pair.
That's cute.
Oh, hell yeah.
What are their names?
Mouse and Mango.
Mouse and Mango.
Mango is the orange one. He's like pretty loud and he loves food and playing. And then Mouse is she's like a multicolored cat and very, very quiet. I think she might have some issues with her voice box because she doesn't meow at all.
Oh,
I have a
she's chill.
I have a friend who used to have a cat who actually just passed away this year, unfortunately. Something was wrong with his like vocal cords. He would literally like, it was like,
screech.
it wasn't a screech. It was like, yeah, but it was like really deep and like really pronounced.
Or
like,
he bellowed.
It wasn't. He could not meow. Like there was no meowing.
Yeah.
His meow was just like a croak. It literally sounded like a croak.
That's funny.
It was very strange.
I saw them playing and it seemed like she was going like rah rah.
Aw.
So I thought maybe that's the case.
Well, we need cat pictures.
Tangent
in the pet Discord tab. We need some cat pictures. Speaking of cats, Peregrine Beckoner is really good with Nested Shambler. Nested Shambler being black 1/1 when it dies, create X tapped 1/1 green squirrel tokens where X is its power.
Mm-hmm.
So this in combination with like your beetles, your bloodthirsty vampire, bloodthorn vampire. And then, so you Peregrine Beckoner, your Nested Shambler, you sack it, it makes 3 1/1s, it comes back tapped, you sack it makes another 1/1. That gets out of hand, especially with that vampire. And like I said, if you just happen to have a beetle laying around too, that's just benefiting from this, you can really kill people out of nowhere from this mono black sack deck.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's kind of weird. Randomly, we just saw this deck start appearing, even before Peregrine Beckoner. It was just like this kind of fringe tier 2 deck. Because I remember Thomas and Derek were really big into this.
Yeah.
And then this card gets printed. It's like, oh, it's real.
Mm-hmm. I don't really know why it became like such a... I don't know what the precipitating factor was that it became so good. But
I can tell you what it is that people figured out that Deadly Dispute was not good in that deck. People kept trying to play Deadly Dispute with all these like make an idiot effects. And they're like, man, this deck is just not that good. Until they figured out, if we just play the 1-mana ones that draw
they were forced to play the 1-mana ones.
Yeah, I was like, play the 1-mana ones that just all do the same thing. They're way better.
That's kind of like Burn got worse of Luris. Or it got better if Luris, not because of Luris, is because there's one less sideboard card for Burn players to mess up sideboarding.
That is true.
But that's a whole other thing. I don't know why that reminds me of that, but...
I do love a resubmit.
What was the...
I do too.
What was it?
He said, I love a resubmit. On Magic Online, you have to submit your deck list.
Yep.
Because you don't play Magic Online.
No, I didn't know that. See?
No changes.
No changes.
Deck's perfect. Why would I change it? Melded Moxite was the last card.
So...
Yeah, that one's become a staple now, but it was not before. I would say this like fringe staple card now.
Yeah, Jake, you and I, when we met up in Atlanta, this was a card I was talking about. I was like, yeah, I keep seeing these lists, but it doesn't look good. So it's 1 and a red for when it comes into play. It's an artifact. When it comes into play, you may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. Then you can pay 3 mana, sacrifice this, and make a 2/2 construct robot that's tapped, I believe.
Right? Not even tapped.
No, it's tapped.
It's tapped.
Oh, it is tapped. Okay. And the cool thing that people have like kind of figured out to do with this is that you just like play it in the like Boros synth deck, but don't play synthesizer, but you play it with like a sneaky snacker package. It was really the biggest thing being done with this. It's pretty cool.
Well, people are also playing it in like a mono red madness where you're playing a low to the ground deck so that you can enable Tomb Raider.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then not play the pingers. So they're more like a hybrid aggro sly madness burn deck. I saw Harbor Master Dave top 8'd their like 60-something event playing that strategy. It's similar to my version where I was playing like an upcoming card, Mass Meower, where it was just like a low to the ground deck that eventually goes Gutter Snipe, kill you. And then, I mean, in Burn, Galvanic Blast is quite good, so enabling that is pretty good.
I also saw in a pretty sick Boros Gates list that played like Melded Moxites and like Sneaky Snackers. So like that deck, but it was also playing, Gates and Basilisk Gates. So I'm like, that's pretty sick. Like that.
If it's got Gates,
it's got to be good. It's got to be cool. I mean, we got to find a, how do we make a Gates Fams
Gates
deck?
Familiars?
Yeah.
Gates Familiars. Just throw the Gates package.
I think when the Gates first came out, Heisen of the PFP But he actually played Gates Fams where he was like gating up his 04 faithful and getting in.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah,
sick.
it's been done.
That's pretty sick. Of course it has. Were there any other cards from EOE that y'all thought were
Oh yeah.
pretty cool mentioning? Oh, hit me.
So Galeblade, Ilvoy Galeblade
Oh, yeah.
in mono blue fairies, a 1 mana
I
flash.
forgot about that.
So it's a single blue, and you can sacrifice it for 2 to draw a card. And then there's Temporal Intervention, which is the Thoughtseize for Pauper, 2 and a black. Thoughtseize effect, but you don't lose life. And then you can make it cost only black if a permanent left the battlefield this turn. I think it counts the opponent's permanents. I'm
I
not
think that card's terrible.
entirely sure. It's really good in Altertron and Eggstron because you're constantly cracking stuff and then you can easily turn it on.
That's
And it's quite good there because you get rid of things like Fairy Macabre, Thraben Charm, counter spells,
'Cause
whatever.
you're not being bound
Spell
by
spray,
like
it doesn't matter.
duress, traditional duress effect.
But that, I guess, Fairy Macabre
Right.
does hurt that deck quite a bit too if you're trying to combo off. So that makes
It's just
sense.
a pretty solid way to, like, it was definitely main decked for to try to beat Tide as well. And then one card that I thought was pretty sweet that I tried out that I haven't actually tried since then was Command Bridge. I played it in this deck that I used to love a ton. It was called Jeskai Ephemerate. So it was the Astrolabe Snow Jeskai deck, but playing Abundant Growth as your Astrolabe.
Okay, that's sweet.
So as long as you have green mana, Abundant Growth is Astrolabe. So this one uses the Command Bridge. So you can play Abundant Growth on a different land, then play the Command Bridge, which is a land that taps for any color. But when it ETBs, you have to tap an untapped permanent you control or sacrifice it. So
Okay.
if you enchanted a land with Abundant Growth, that thing doesn't matter if it's tapped or not. You just tap that thing.
That's
And
interesting.
then now you've got like perfect mana, counter spells, screds, whatever you want to be playing. It was sweet. And then you get to play the package of Abundant Growth plus the core Skyfisher. So you play 1 white, green, draw 2, 2, 3, which is not as good as like Experimental
Cryogen Relic?
Synthesizer. But I got to play Abundant Growth plus Cryogen Relic. Yeah, Cryogen Relic in that deck too, which was fun.
That is pretty cool.
Big enjoyment.
Yeah, the Gale Blade was pretty cool too. Like having another flash flyer for face, pretty good. Actually, in the most recent list I was playing, I don't even think I was playing this card. I think I was just playing all the jellyfish, or the
That is the
not the
jellyfish.
jellyfish. The what is one that loots? The winged one. You can pay 2 and a blue to loot.
Oh, the Harrier Strix?
Yeah,
The
Harrier Strix.
yeah.
What set is that card from?
It's from OTJ.
OTJ was last year. Never mind. Okay.
Correct.
I'm like, did we miss OTJ? I'm like, wait a
No.
minute. Concept 2024 and 2025 are just like
They blur together.
they're kind of the same year. Shortly after EOE, we had the. I'm giving you a foot show. Sorry. I was like, shortly after EOE, I just had my foot right in front of the camera. Shortly after EOE, we had the second Common Ground Cup as well. That was pretty
Correct,
cool.
because actually, I think it was the release weekend.
Yeah, because we were excited. Like, are we going to see
Because
some
we
cool
thought
Cryogen
we
relics?
assumed the Cryogen Relic would have been like the heat.
We did not see any
There was
Cryogen.
like one person, like one round, and that was it.
Yeah. So that is what it was.
I took the Cryogen Relic Familiars to the Upstate New York Pauper Open in the end of August. I was
Okay.
afraid there was going to be too many fairies, so I didn't bring my High Tide deck. But I ended up top 8ing with the FAMS deck, which was sweet.
Could have got those wins in while you could.
I ended up taking High Tide to Atlanta
Indeed.
and making top 8 there, which
Hell
was
yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah, you did. I remember that. Yeah. I wasn't there, but I heard and saw.
I remember that.
Shout out Zach for winning the second round Common Cup by playing the least amount of Magic possible.
He did play
Or
factually
at least
the least
not maybe
amount
not the least
the
amount of Magic.
the fewest games
fewest
possible to have won.
He
the
got his
tournament.
time worth in, that's for sure.
He did.
But we had a fun recap episode with him, or at least I did, and I really enjoyed that. So go listen to us talk about Fog for how long that was, if that's
I
your
have no
thing.
idea.
Oh, it was fun. After EOE was Marvel Spider-Man.
Do we have to acknowledge this existed?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
September 16th. There was like a few.
There's a few good cards here.
I think the most notable one. So, all right, Thomas. I'm gonna give it. There you go. So you can see that spike
Wait,
when he edits.
ready? 3, 2. We'll clap. We'll clap on 3. 3,
Oh, okay.
2, 1, clap. Clap. Okay.
I don't know if that'll do anything.
We kind of got there. Okay.
Unless we
Go
can
ahead.
hear it all together. So, Marvel Spider-Man. Technical difficulties. Beep. Thomas will... God, he's going to get paid overtime.
He is getting paid.
Call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for me!
Marvel Spider-Man, September 16th, 2025. We had a few cards. Spider-Man Web Slinger showed up a little bit in mono white. Swarm Being of Bees and Rakdos Madness. Mass Meower and like these mono red dredge list. Callie, you tried it out in mono red madness a little bit.
That's true.
And then Skyward Spider has kind of just rejuvenated this mono white heroic deck. Hippo, you played that.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's just like basically it's another like it's a creature that's very hard to target and also gets a bonus when you target it with something. So it's just kind of a nice
Hard to kill. It
easy
bridges
slide.
you really nice into that.
Yeah, it does.
Mass Meower. Jake, you were talking about a little bit before that it's just kind of replaced the Kessig Flame Breather for you in the version you were playing, just getting your pings in with that instead.
Yeah, I think that the mono red madness has some issues versus the mono blue decks like Terror and Fae. And I think if you're on the board quickly, then you can you can use your blasts better, and then you don't have to sideboard in relics, because if you're trying to play Kessig and get over the top of them, I think you need to bridge the gap by playing the relic so that you can get to the end state where you can play your Kessig and go through your opponent. So I liked going low to the ground, blast my way through. But now with like Gardens coming back and Jund being more powerful or more present, I think that playing maybe the stock list with Kessig could be better. I'm not entirely sure. I did trophy with that.
Okay.
But that's because those ones have more grind power, and if they do gain life, you can just explode through them. And you can beat a lot of life gain with more pingers in play. So it's I think there are trade-offs for both.
So November 10th, before our next set, we had the High Tide band. Jake, I'll let you take it away for however long you want to, real quick. However long you want to, real quick.
So High Tide being banned does make sense. They ended up banning it and stating that it had a pretty good win rate. I think 55, 56. That is to be expected, in my opinion, because High Tide is a deck that requires some knowledge on piloting and executing. And I've actually knew how to pilot and execute it way before it was unbanned, because I created the Battle Festival version of the deck with and played that like bajillions of times. So, I think it being banned on being too good is fine. It kind of stinks that we had a bunch of time that was kind of like sort of lost, that maybe we could be looking at other parts of the format and like get it, or maybe like other decks could have appeared when they were afraid of Tide or whatever. We'll see.
And that's kind of you live, you learn thing. I'm glad they did. I would rather them do these trial unbans and learn from them than not. So maybe like next time they can just say, well, let's make it like instead of 3-month trial and then being like another half a month of who knows.
Yeah.
Maybe we can just have it unbanned for 4 months and then make your decision after that, unless it's like an Oko, the ceiling's falling kind of situation there. So overall, I do appreciate the effort that Gavin puts into like the articles and the time the whole PFP puts into the format.
Maybe one thing they could maybe do is say, "Hey, this is a card that's on the ban list. We're gonna recruit 15 really, really good players to have a mini tournament where we try to break it, and then we'll just look at that and use that to determine whether to think about things, because the PFP is all really good players, but maybe they didn't have the knowledge, and also some of the tech.
I mean, the time and people too, like just having the time and resources to do that.
Some of the tech that pushed High Tide over the edge was not things that were specifically obvious, but in the end are. So it's just things that maybe it would give them a better leg up, and then I think that hopefully next time they'll act faster too.
No, I like that actually. Instead of like polling the broader community, just get like a little bit of like inside testing. Be like, okay, it's a combo deck. Who can we call on that really likes combo decks to see? If
I don't know anybody.
Or if they're thinking about unbanning something for Nia Gates, and maybe they can hit me up for that. Once I get something banned for it, and then down the line they want to unban it. But November 21st was Avatar: The Last Airbender. I really liked this set overall for a flavor perspective because I like the IP a ton. So it's really cool to see some of the art translated into it, like the Heartless Act with Appa on there. I know it's an uncommon, but I love the art on that card. And it got, I mentioned this before with the Zach episode a couple weeks ago, but it got my lady friend interested in opening Magic packs and learning how to play Magic, and just like watching her open a pack of cards and be excited about every card. I'm like, this is really cool.
Oh, absolutely. So, I didn't know anything about Avatar, and I watched it entirely on Netflix, and I was trying not to like look at the whole set or just play the Pauper cards that I knew about, so I didn't get spoilered. I saw like energy bending. I was like, oh, that's weird. And then at the end of the series, it didn't click, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. Did
you cry for the Leaves of the Vine episode?
I don't remember that specifically. I didn't memorize the names of the episodes, but I like the whole series a lot.
That's the Iroh of his kid dying episode.
Oh, poor
where he
guy.
visits his grave.
Yeah, I probably did.
Yeah, that one. I cried and I went to work right after, and somebody asked if I was okay, and I'm like, it sounds really stupid, but I just watched a cartoon and cried.
So once you have a kid, you start watching all these Disney movies that are all like have a lot of. It's all about family, and the kid just wants acceptance from the parent, and like the mom just wants her to like be safe, and then you're just like, I can't watch it. I can't think about Encanto without crying.
Aw, that's sweet, actually. But actual cards in the set, I just had the one in Abandoned Attachment's really good.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned it's given life to this Dimir Terror deck.
Yep.
Which has been popping up all over the place. And I haven't got to play with that deck yet, but it looks sick.
I would also like to play with that deck. It looks really cool.
Mitch.
Mainly because it's a discard outlet for Sneaky Snacker. Sorry.
Yeah,
what were you
absolutely.
saying?
Mitch said he played in a team trios. Mitch is the guy that runs upstate New York Pauper. And he was able to, their team like made first or split finals, and he played that deck and went undefeated.
Oh, that's really
maybe
sick.
5-1 or something.
Oh, stonks.
And I'm very excited
That's a
about
sick
all
one.
of the lessons cards, because first day of class can pick all those, and it's created this crazy Ruby Storm deck that I've been working on, having a great time. Continuously losing to blue decks and Hydroblast, but maybe someday I can figure out a way.
Hydros.
It's unfortunate because they get to play.
Should we have that
Hydros.
Conversation?
They get to play 8 Hydros, and I can only play 4.
And
it's not fair.
And they can only play 8 snacks or snakes.
All you need is one.
They only need like one to actually kill it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Maybe I should side up. Maybe that deck, when I play against them, I should just not worry about the Hydroblast. I should just be a Weather the Storm pile again.
Yeah. Overall, the year, I really liked, we mentioned this at the beginning of the episode, the impact of the cards added felt like the impact of the cards added. The cards added in the format impacted the format well enough, but it didn't feel like anything is warping the format around itself completely.
Not of new cards, no.
No.
I love that we're getting like things that are playables and breathing
like role
life
players
into stuff. Yeah, like we were talking about before with Reban Charm. It's pretty sweet. Love it.
Yeah, like Sagu Wildling was huge for me. What was y'all's like favorite deck to come out of 2025? Either completely new or just got this huge boost or revamp?
I really enjoyed the like mono black sacrifice deck. It's not a deck that's like going to be at the top of the meta like at any point, but that's a good thing. I think it's just a cool deck that can like win tournaments. It has a really cool lines of play. It
feels good.
It feels good. You can just like outplay your opponents with like combat math and stuff. It's just a cool deck.
It's something new too. It's very different from what else is going around the format.
Exactly. I think it's a really cool deck.
Callie, what about you?
My favorite new experience was definitely the mono red Madness deck. I'd never played a burn deck and had fun before, but this thing goes crazy. I killed somebody playing White Weenie in one turn when they were at 33 life. Or it was a heroic.
The burn deck that feels like the combo deck.
Combo burn. Just put on the Shays and blast them.
This is kind of weird, but I'm going to say the 5-land spy deck, even though I haven't even played it. I've seen our friend Centillus play it a watch. I've been like hovering his game at our locals, watch him play it. And I just love like seeing his opponent have like 3 relics in play and a fairy macabre, and he's just like, okay, go to combat, swing a Venging Hunter and a Generison at you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yes, this is cool. And I really need to play this deck and get my hands on it. So maybe I play it and I hate it. I did enjoy the Mono Red Madness deck as well, though. When I played that, it felt just the power to kill out of nowhere was just crazy. Overall, how do we feel about the current meta?
I think things are fairly healthy for the most part. I think there are foils to like all the top decks, but there's very few that like kind of overlap across the table. So there's like lots of back and forth to be going around, which is really nice. So I think things are pretty fairly balanced.
I'll say, especially if you're a paper player, you're eating really well. There's some problems in like leagues where it can just feel like it's mono red or just terror, especially mono red being really popular in leagues. But if you're a paper player, at least for Hippo and I at our locals, I mean, hell, you play in that tournament Kentucky, it sounded like a diverse room too.
No, it was not.
Oh, really?
No, it was not. It was like half. I'm not joking. I think literally half the room was on terror.
Wow.
I'm not. That is
I'm
not an
retract my
exaggeration.
statement.
Like I was like somebody had the round one or like got done with round one like super quick. Started walking around and like looking at what was in the room. And there's like there's somewhere between 10 and 15 terror players.
Pack your tithing blades.
I'm like, holy crap, that's a ton of terror.
Spellers. They could just play a null, right?
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But hey, gotta try at least.
Can't null a cast down.
No, that is true. You can't null a cast down.
you
That's
cannot.
funny. But it does cost 4. But
It seems to me that the format is like pretty open-ish. Like from like you can play something and do well, but you have to be prepared for Mono Red Madness and Terror. And if you choose to dodge them, you will not.
yeah, that is true. Locals, it's felt like I could bring about anything and hang in there as long as cards have a good game plan. I don't think the format is.
Also, you've made sure not to pack your graveyard hate every week because you know better.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. It's just what you gotta do. Just in case Antilla shows up with Spy.
Yeah, it's sort of, I think that Spy kind of pushed people to be extra heavy on Graveyard Hate. We're seeing most decks play like 3 spell bombs in the main if they can. But obviously that has benefits into the Tolarian Terror meta, and it isn't terrible into the Mono Red Madness because you can get rid of
Terrible.
Lava Darts and Snackers. Terrible.
Especially with like
Durable.
Relic and Nihil Spell Bomb being able to replace itself, it feels very free. It's nice that Terror and Spy has this universal Graveyard Hate, while Mono Red Madness feels a little bit harder to attack. It feels like you can have a Weather Storm and it's not enough. And the only thing that's super good against Mono Red Madness is Blue Blast. You mentioned that, Jake, and that just
So this is
not everybody gets to play that.
This is interesting to me because I think that blue blast clearly the best versus the red blast the best versus blue, but other things can beat terror that are not just red blast. You can play removal deck and you can win. You can play a Clan Shaman Toxin and win.
Well, removal dock deck is necessarily not very good into Mono Red Madness because they're going to play the Gutter Snipe and then kill you. If
Yeah,
you're removal dock
that's
deck.
what I was going to say. Like it's sort of picking the different line, picking a different lane. There were some familiars players playing Pyroblast and Fams trying to beat the terror decks, but it ends up, to me, seeming like maybe it adds some weaknesses to Mono Red. So it's really hard to be facing these two decks and beating both of them.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
The best thing that I've been able to do to beat both of them was probably something like an Eggstron or an Altertron, where you're just like a really fast Weather Storm plus a combo kill. So you can try to get over the top of the Mono Red, and then you have like Fangren Marauder to win, and then also get through the Terror decks. But sometimes you just get like your map spell pierced or whatever, and then you just die because you don't find Tron.
Yeah, that's the risk of playing Tron decks. I don't think the
Sag.
sky is falling by any means. I would like to see it play out a little bit longer before people start calling for bans or anything. I think both decks are kind of on that line of, is this too good?
I also like. I think there's a common misconception that if a deck is like the best deck in the format, or in this case 2 of the best decks in the format, that's a bad thing. No, it's okay to have
I
these
agree.
are the things that you're gunning for. Like you must be able to beat these things,
Or at least one of them.
or at least one of them. Like in some capacity to have a chance, and I think that's okay.
I agree with that sentiment for the most part, and like definitely the top 2 or 3 decks are like Terror and Mono Red are in that top 3. So
I think that both Terror and Mono Red, because they're mono colored and they play all basics, they're very streamlined. They can feel like you blink and you die.
yeah,
Versus something that was a little bit more clunky, and it was a little bit easier to have some breathing room. So even if the speed of the format isn't quite as fast as it used to be, it sometimes feels like the turns that you get don't really matter as much, or maybe like the game is decided much sooner because they're so streamlined.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I did die last week too. Turn 4, putting 3 snakes into play. So it's like I feel that. It's like, oh wow. And I was playing Gates, so it was like I did win the match, but I played a lot of tap lands and my opponent just threw 3 snakes to play. And maybe I deserve that for playing 4 tap lands in a row.
yeah, Pauper used to be the tap land format, but I mean we had things like
Oh yeah.
back, in 2019, there was mono green Stompy, still mono green, monocolor decks doing the thing. Elves can do the thing.
Mm-hmm. And I still think we
plenty
are the
of
tap
powerful
lane
things to
format.
do.
We see a lot of bridge decks floating around and stuff. So it's you will get punished occasionally, but it definitely is still possible to play some tap lands. But just gotta be careful on that mono red madness. Any other closing final thoughts from y'all?
Pauper's great. This year's been great.
For sure. It was great to get to meet up with Hippo in Atlanta over I think it was in August, at the end of August.
September.
So this is September. My
Yeah, it was September.
scale is messed. But I'm hoping that there will be more in-person events that we can all do together. So we're still working, trying to coordinate things, and then excited to play more Pauper. I'm just excited that people are happy and want to join and play my favorite format.
It just big thank you to all the listeners too. Podcast has really exploded this year.
Yep.
Which is really cool, and we've gotten a lot of love for y'all, so we really appreciate that. Jake, I even remember the first time. I don't remember how he found out. I think he joined the Discord, or he maybe sent us an email, but it was just like, oh, Jake listens. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So, and now it's just like, oh yeah, Jake's on. Not that it's not cool you listen, but it's like, oh, it feels like I actually, that. What do you call that word? Where them, parasitic relationship, parasocial, not parasitic.
I was like, wow,
that's way funnier.
Parasocial.
I feel like it's less of a parasocial relationship now than actually we chill.
Yeah. It's awesome that we have such a big community worldwide, and we can all get to know each other a little bit.
Yeah,
it is cool. So I'm just really grateful for the podcast exploding this year, and yeah,
it's good stuff.
Thank you all.
It's fun. It's fun being in the content creation space.
Yeah, content. Woo. I think that wraps up for us.
Yep. If you made it this far.
If you got any questions for us, thank you so much for listening. If you got any questions for us, you can send those to commongroundmtgpod@gmail.com. That is in the description link below.
You got a bunch of questions this past week.
That is true, as well as, we have a mailbag tab in our Discord. You can join our Discord and just throw those questions right into the mailbag. We are doing a mailbag episode. We're recording it before you're hearing this, but it doesn't mean we won't answer your future questions. So
That's true.
Pop in, say hi. Jake's in there, say hi.
Yep.
We can all argue with each other when a card gets banned or whatever.
the per usual.
Yeah.
I'm still mad, but I'm not as mad.
No, you're good. You're good. And you were never disrespectful in any way at all. I think all your points were very okay, I think he's a person in reason. And so that I always appreciate that.
Every one of my favorite cards and decks got banned, so I've never had success with a deck that didn't get banned.
Well, that's just you're preaching to the choir on that one.
That one's just gonna happen. I feel like a lot of people's goal is to set out and get a card banned.
Play in RCQs and RC is just if I'm looking at a deck and I don't think a card can get banned out of it, I should not be playing this deck.
That's entirely fair.
Well,
Magreen, Pioneer, Lurrus in Modern, Yorion in Modern, Scam in Modern, just
that's probably
Heartfire
good
Hero in
because
Standard.
Violent Outburst.
then you get to grow as a person. You get to you have learned the ability to remember,
Adapt and overcome,
but not like
Forget.
dwell on it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that.
I was gonna make like a like a short where it's just like a sad song playing in the background and all my favorite cards like scrolling by.
Oh, that'd be
like,
funny. That'd be really funny.
Oh, In the Arms of an Angel
Bam.
from Sarah McLachlan.
Yeah.
But
That's super funny.
yeah, and I like that, and that's been a nice change about Pauper is that, man, I played all these competitive formats. It was hard to keep up with and stuff getting banned, and Pauper has a slower churn, but we kind of had an episode about that already, so we won't get into that too much. It's the in cap.
That's right.
Stay safe out there. Go play
Pauper.
upstate New York.
Do that.
Go play
do
Common
that.
Ground Cup.
Be me. Lose to the madness.
You got some store credit. It's not the worst
I
thing in
think
the world. All right, I'm done.
That's it. Goodbye, everyone.